Every one of us wakes up with the same 24 hours. No one gets more, no one gets less. But what separates the impactful from the average is how they manage what can never be refunded: time. You don't manage your life, you manage your time, and that determines your life. Time is the most valuable currency you will ever possess. You can lose money and make it back. You can lose friends and build new relationships. But when you lose time, it's gone forever. You can't borrow it, you can't stretch it, and you certainly can't store it. Time, unlike any other resource, is always moving tick by tick, second by second, whether you use it or not. What if I told you that every single day you are given a deposit of 86,400 seconds, no bank account, no savings plan, just a daily gift, and at midnight, what you didn't use disappears, wasted, gone, and yet so many people live as if they have a time reserve somewhere, waiting to be cashed in later. They procrastinate, they delay, they waste, and they wonder why they don't progress. Here's the truth: you are not managing time, you are managing your decisions within time. That's where your power is. Time is neutral, it doesn't care what you do with it, but your future does. Time is always asking you a question: what will you do with me today? And how you answer determines what doors open, what dreams live or die, and what kind of legacy you leave behind. Too many people are saving energy for someday. They say, one day I'll write that book, one day I'll start that business, one day I'll change. But let me ask you, when is one day? Can you point to it on a calendar? Because if you can't, then it doesn't exist. Time doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It doesn't pause while you figure things out. And it definitely doesn't care about your excuses. While you're scrolling through distractions, someone else is building their future. While you're sleeping in, someone else is rising early to sharpen their vision. While you're wasting hours, someone else is making every second count. And they're not smarter than you, they're just more intentional. You don't get to choose how much time you have, but you do get to choose what you do with it. And your choices are the evidence of what you truly value. So let me ask you, are you spending time or are you investing it? Because like any currency, if you spend it on the wrong things, you'll be broke when it counts. But if you invest it wisely, you'll reap dividends of growth, influence, peace, and purpose. Time is your most silent partner, always present, always counting, never negotiating. You either use it or you lose it. Now here's the catch: if time is your currency, then discipline is your bank account. And without it, even the richest person in hours can still end up bankrupt in results. But how do you master the clock before it masters you? That is what we'll uncover next. The clock is always ticking, and whether you realize it or not, it is either working for you or working against you. Every minute that passes is either taking you closer to your vision or pulling you further away from it. Time is not patient. Time is not forgiving. If you don't master it, it will master you. People think they have time because the clock is silent, but silence doesn't mean it's not speaking. Every tick is a reminder that your window of opportunity is getting smaller. Every hour that slips away is an hour you'll never get back. So let me ask you, who's really in control of your clock? Are you running your time, or is your time running you? The most dangerous thing about time is that it doesn't wait until you're ready. It doesn't check in to see how motivated you are today. It doesn't slow down when you're tired. That's why successful people aren't just dreamers, they're time managers. They set the pace, They own their hours. They don't let the clock dictate what gets done. They dictate it. If you don't schedule your priorities, the clock will schedule your distractions. Wake up late, the clock already started.
Waste your morning?
The clock didn't stop for you. Get to the end of the day wondering where the time went. That's what happens when time masters you. You become a slave to the clock instead of a steward of it. The real enemy is not time, it's mismanagement. It's not that you don't have time, it's that you don't control what's being done with it. Time mastery is not about doing more things. It's about doing the right things at the right time with the right focus. So ask yourself, what is stealing your time? Is it distraction? Is it indecision? Is it lack of planning? Because whatever is stealing your time is stealing your life. And if you don't take control now, the clock will become your greatest enemy. Always running, never stopping, always reminding you of what could have been done, should have been done, but wasn't. Your day must have direction. Your time must have a target. If you don't tell the clock where to go, it'll take you wherever it wants, and it rarely takes you where you belong. Now here's the secret. When you master your minutes, you multiply your moments. When you take control of your schedule, you take control of your success. And that's not just about being busy. That's about being productive. But how do you know what to focus on? How do you make sure the time you're spending is actually taking you somewhere meaningful? That's where purpose comes in. And that's exactly what we'll discover next. Every single person on this planet, no matter where they were born, how much money they have, what language they speak, wakes up with the same gift, 24 hours. The rich don't get more, the poor don't get less. The powerful, the famous, the unknown, the forgotten, all of us are given the same amount of time, every day. But here's the question. If time is distributed equally, why are the results so different? It's because time is the only gift that guarantees nothing, unless you decide to use it with intention. You can have 24 hours and still live an average life. Or you can take those same 24 hours and turn them into building blocks of greatness. You see, the difference is not the gift, it's the response. What you do with your 24 hours reveals what you believe about your own potential. Some people spend their time escaping life. Others use their time to create life. Some waste it, others multiply it. The greatest leaders, inventors, artists, thinkers, they didn't get extra hours. They just understood how valuable each one was. They treated their time like a treasure, not a toy. Because once you see time as a gift, you stop abusing it and you start protecting it. You stop letting people waste your time. You stop letting emotions dictate your day. You stop waiting for permission to start, and you just start. You don't need more hours. You need more clarity, more discipline, more direction. Because 24 hours is enough if you're serious about what you want. Let me ask you, what are you doing with your 24? Are you filling them with noise or purpose? Are you waking up with intention or reacting to the chaos? Are you building something or just getting by? You don't rise to success because you have more talent. You rise because you've made better choices with your time. It's not luck. It's not chance. It's daily, focused, intentional action. Time is not just ticking, it's telling the story of what you value, telling the truth about, telling the world where you're going or where you're not. And here's what you need to know. Every day, life deposits a fresh 24 hours into your hands. What you do with them determines whether you grow or stay stuck. But here's the secret. The power of your 24 hours only comes alive when you know why you've been given them. Because without purpose, time has no meaning. And that is what we're about to dive into next. Time without purpose is just motion without meaning. You can be busy all day, running here, answering that, checking this, fixing that, and still end the day feeling empty. Why? Because time without direction is just noise. Activity doesn't equal productivity, and purpose is what gives time its power. Purpose is what makes your hours count. It's the compass for your schedule, the engine behind your discipline, the fuel for your focus. When you know your purpose, you stop living on autopilot. You stop letting your calendar be filled with other people's demands. You start to decide not just what to do, but why you do it. Without purpose, your time is just reaction. You wake up reacting to messages, reacting to problems, reacting to pressure. But with purpose, you live by design. You don't just let the day happen, you make the day obey. Purpose-driven time is dangerous. In the best way. It's focused. It's sharp. It's disciplined. It doesn't waste energy on things that don't align. It doesn't say yes to everything, because it understands the cost of every yes. Purpose makes your time sacred. It tells you, this hour is not for distraction. This moment is not for doubt. This day is not for drama. When you know why you're here, your time reflects it. You plan different. You walk different. You talk different. Because you're not guessing anymore. You're guided. Let me ask you, what's guiding your time right now? Is it pressure? Is it fear? Is it the opinions of others? Or is it purpose? Because when purpose takes the wheel, clarity comes with it. You begin to make decisions faster. You begin to eliminate what doesn't matter. You stop chasing applause and start chasing assignment. People who waste time usually don't know who they are. But when you find your why, you become dangerous with your time. You don't just schedule tasks, you schedule transformation. Purpose gives your no power. It gives your yes focus. It gives your routine reason. And when you live like that, you become unstoppable. Not because you're doing more, but because you're doing what matters. But here's the challenge. Purpose requires honesty. You can't live on purpose if you're lying to yourself. You can't manage your time if you won't admit what's stealing it. And you definitely can't move forward if you're still holding on to habits that are pulling you backward. So the question is, are you brave enough to confront your time thieves? Are you willing to look at what's silently robbing your destiny? Because purpose without protection will still be lost. And that's exactly why we need to talk about how time gets stolen, even when we don't see it happening. Every destiny begins as a seed, and that seed is planted in the soil of time. Time is not just a ticking clock. It is the environment where your future is either formed or forgotten. And what you do with your minutes determines the harvest you'll see in your life. You don't need a massive moment to change your future. You need a decision in a minute. Just one. 1 minute of courage. 1 minute of clarity. 1 minute of clarity. 1 minute of discipline. Because destiny doesn't ask for your whole day. It just asks for your attention, one moment at a time. That's the problem. Most people underestimate the power of a minute. They think it's too small to matter, too quick to count. But here's the truth. A wasted minute is a wasted opportunity. And if you keep wasting enough small opportunities, you'll miss the big ones when they show up. What if I told you, your future is hidden in your daily minutes? The quiet ones, the unseen ones, the ones where no one's watching, but everything is being decided. What you do in those moments shapes who you become. Every minute is a seed. You plant laziness. You reap regret. You plant discipline. You reap progress. You plant distraction, you reap delay. You plant focus, you reap fulfillment. The harvest is always based on what was sown, not what was wished for. So let me ask you, what kind of future are you planting right now? Because your results tomorrow are growing in the minutes you're living today. Time doesn't just tell, it tests. It tests your habits. It tests your consistency. It tests your hunger. And every test is a chance to sow something better. You don't stumble into destiny, you grow into it. Minute by minute, hour by hour, you feed it with decisions. You water it with focus. You protect it with boundaries. And little by little, you become the person your future needs you to be. But here's the trap. When you don't respect your minutes, you sabotage your momentum. You delay what was meant to be delivered. You bury the seed of your calling beneath the weeds of distraction. That's why time must be guarded like a treasure chest. Not just the big blocks of time, but the small ones. Because minutes become hours, hours become days, days become years, and years become your story. You can't rewrite yesterday, but you can plant something new today. One focused minute can change your routine. One shift in your daily pattern can open doors you thought were closed. But here's the key. Seeds don't grow without care, and your minutes won't multiply without protection. So the real question is, who or what is stealing your seed? Who's robbing your time before it has a chance to grow? And that is exactly what we'll uncover next. Time doesn't just pass, it counts. Every second, every minute, every hour, it's counting for you or counting against you. And the difference? Stewardship. How well you manage what you've been given. You don't own time, you're a steward of it. You don't control when it starts or when it ends, but you do control what happens in between. And that's where your power lives. Not in wishing for more time, but in managing what you already have with excellence, with discipline, with vision. The greatest tragedies in life don't come from lack of talent. They come from poor stewardship of time. Because when you mishandle time, you mismanage opportunities. And when you mismanage opportunities, doors close that may never open again. Stewardship means treating time like a responsibility, not a luxury. It means recognizing that your seconds aren't random, they're assignments. Every second has a purpose, and your job is to find it. Let me ask you, do you track where your time goes? Need to track where your time goes? Do you guard it like you guard your money? Or do you let people steal it, waste it, distract you from it, without ever holding them accountable? If someone took money out of your wallet, you'd stop them. You'd confront it. You'd protect what was yours. But how many times have people taken your time and you said nothing? Because here's the truth. If you don't place value on your time, no one else will. Time is life in disguise. So if you're wasting time, you're wasting life. And that's not something you get to repeat. That's why stewardship is serious. You can't afford to drift through your day, casually hoping things work out. You've got to be intentional, strategic, relentless. A steward sets boundaries. A steward builds systems. A steward doesn't wait for perfect conditions. They create structure so they can function, even in chaos. Every second matters. The seconds you spend thinking, the seconds you spend speaking, the seconds you spend deciding what to focus on. Because all those little seconds, they add up to your outcome. And your outcome is either the result of time used well or time lost forever. Stewardship means saying no when it's easier to say yes. It means turning off the noise, closing the door, shutting down the excuses, and doing what matters most. Because greatness doesn't come from doing everything, it comes from doing the right things, consistently. But here's where it gets deeper. Stewardship of time is not just about what you say yes or no to. It's about how you invest the time you do have. Are you maximizing it? Are you multiplying it? Because when time is managed well, it grows into something greater. It becomes a tool for transformation. But when it's mismanaged, it becomes a thief of your potential. So here's the question. If time is your tool, are you building anything with it? And to build anything that lasts, you're going to need a foundation. And that starts with unlocking your potential. Your potential is not a mystery, it's a result of what you do with your time. The truth is, potential is never missing, it's just trapped. And the key that unlocks it is discipline. Discipline isn't just about self-control, it's about alignment. It's making sure your actions are working in harmony with your vision. It's telling your time where to go, so your purpose can come alive. Without discipline, your potential stays locked inside you, untouched, unnoticed, unused. You can have talent, you can have vision, you can have ambition, but without time discipline, you'll stay in the same place year after year, wondering why nothing's changing. Let me ask you, how many dreams are sitting in your life right now, waiting for you to become disciplined enough to unlock them? How many ideas, how many goals, how many breakthroughs are just sitting there? Because your time is still being ruled by distractions. Potential doesn't respond to passion alone. It responds to structure. It grows when you create space for it. And time discipline is how you make space. That means setting time aside, not when it's convenient, but when it's necessary. That means doing what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, not when you feel like it. Discipline doesn't care about comfort. Discipline is committed to growth. You'll never discover your true ability until you apply pressure to your time, until you start holding yourself accountable, until you stop waiting for the perfect moment and start maximizing the moment you're in. Discipline builds momentum. One focused hour leads to another. One intentional day leads to progress. And soon what felt impossible starts becoming normal, because you trained your time to work with you, not against you. You've got more in you. You've got levels inside you that haven't even been tapped yet. But they won't come out just because you want them to. They come out when you train for them. When you create a routine, when you cut off time wasters, when you protect your energy, when you put pressure on your day, instead of letting the day pressure you. Time discipline is what separates potential from productivity. It's what turns raw ability into real impact. It's what turns the possible into the proven. But here's what most people miss. Time discipline isn't just about working harder, it's about working wiser. It's about knowing the difference between what looks urgent and what's actually important. And if you don't master that difference, you'll be busy, but never effective. You'll move fast, but never move forward. So how do you protect your time from the noise? How do you guard your energy and keep your focus clear? That's exactly what we'll break down in the next step. Distractions are the silent killers of progress. They come in many forms, some loud, some quiet, some obvious, some sneaky. But no matter what they look like, distractions have one goal in mind: to steal your time. And if you're not careful, they'll steal your life with it. Let's face it, we live in a world designed to distract us. Notifications pinging on your phone, emails flooding your inbox, people demanding your attention at all hours of the day. Everywhere you turn, something or someone is pulling at you. And if you don't set boundaries, these distractions will eat up your most precious asset, time. Here's the truth: distractions are expensive. They don't just cost you a minute or an hour, they cost you your focus, your momentum, and ultimately, your future. Every time you're distracted, it takes time to get back on track. And when you're constantly being pulled away from your purpose, you start to lose sight of where you're going. Let me ask you, how often do you find yourself losing time to distractions? How many times have you checked your phone and hours passed without you even realizing it? How often do you let conversations, meetings, or noise take you off course? Distractions don't need to be dramatic to be damaging. Sometimes they're subtle. A small task that's just one more thing, a short break that turns into an hour, a conversation that won't take long, but before you know it, you've lost hours of valuable time. And if you're constantly battling distractions, you're not in control of your time, they are. You're no longer the one dictating what happens next. You're at the mercy of your environment. And this is exactly what successful people don't do. They set boundaries. They build structures that protect their time. They say no when necessary. They create environments where distractions are minimized, not invited in. They don't wait for the world to get quieter. They make sure they're louder than the noise. So how do you guard your time from distractions? First, you have to get clear on your priorities. You have to know what's worth your time and what's not. And if it's not adding value to your vision, it's time to let it go. Next, you need to create physical and mental boundaries. This could mean setting specific work hours, turning off notifications, or even creating a distraction-free zone where you focus on what matters. You have to teach yourself and the people around you that your time is not for sale. It's also about discipline. Discipline to say no. Discipline to walk away from something that isn't serving you. Discipline to ignore the things that pull your focus from your purpose. But here's the catch: it's not enough to just eliminate distractions. You need to replace them with something that propels you forward. Distractions are like weeds. If you don't replace them with something meaningful, they'll grow back. Now that you're starting to take back your time, are you ready to take it even further? Because to truly master your time, you need to stop letting others control it. And that's exactly where we're headed next. One of the hardest skills to master in life is learning to say no. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But for many of us, the word no feels like a barrier to opportunity, a way to disappoint others, or even a sign of weakness. But the truth is, saying no is the ultimate act of self-respect, and without it, you will never be in control of your time. Think about it. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your purpose, you're saying no to something more important. Every time you take on another task you don't need to do, you're sacrificing time you could be using to build your dreams. Every time you agree to someone else's agenda, you're neglecting your own. So let me ask you, how many times have you said yes when you really meant no? How often have you stretched yourself too thin, trying to please everyone else, and left your own priorities behind? How many of your yeses are not serving you, but just filling space on your calendar? If you don't learn to protect your time by saying no to the wrong things, your life will be full of commitments that don't fuel your purpose. And one of the biggest mistakes we make is believing that saying no means we're missing out. We fear that if we don't say yes, we'll be left behind. But in reality, every no you say to distractions, to unnecessary obligations, to things that don't serve your mission, is a yes to your growth. Saying no is about setting boundaries. It's about knowing what's essential and what's a waste. It's about recognizing that not every invitation is meant for you to accept, not every task is meant for you to handle, and not every person is meant for you to help. When you start saying no with clarity and confidence, you're showing yourself that your time is too valuable to be spent on anything that doesn't align with your vision. The question is, how do you say no? How do you navigate those moments when everyone seems to want a piece of your time, and you're left feeling stretched thin, overworked, and underproductive? It starts by understanding your value. When you recognize your time is a precious asset, you begin to guard it like it's your most valuable possession. You realize that your time is meant for creation, not just reaction. You realize that saying no isn't about rejecting people, it's about protecting your potential. Here's another secret: the people who truly respect your time won't be offended by your no. They'll understand. They'll know that your focus is necessary for your own success, and they'll respect you for protecting your vision. The ones who don't respect your boundaries, well, they'll either adjust or they'll move on, and that's perfectly okay. So the question becomes, where are you still saying yes when you should be saying no? Where are you allowing your time to be compromised by the wrong commitments, the wrong people, and the wrong priorities? Now that you understand the power of no, the next step is to recognize the critical part of your life that determines your success: energy management. Because saying no isn't just about time, it's about how you manage your energy to perform at your best. Time is important, but time alone isn't enough. You can have all the hours in the day, but if you're not managing your energy, your time will be wasted. It's not just about what you do, it's about how you do it. And if you're operating at half capacity, no matter how much time you have, you won't be able to give your best. Think about it. How many times have you started a day full of motivation, only to feel drained halfway through? How many times have you looked at your to-do list and felt overwhelmed, like you didn't have the energy to take on what's ahead? This is where energy management comes into play. You need to learn how to fuel your body, mind, and spirit so you can handle whatever comes your way. Managing your energy starts with understanding that it's not just about how long you can work, but how effectively you can work while you're at it. You wouldn't drive a car on empty, so why would you run your life that way? Your energy is what drives your results. Without energy, time is useless. But with the right energy, the minutes you spend will multiply in impact. So let me ask you, how are you managing your energy right now? Are you investing in habits that give you energy, or are you draining yourself with distractions, poor nutrition, and negative influences? Because the truth is, if you're not careful, your energy can be hijacked by things that leave you exhausted and unproductive. Energy management isn't just about physical health, it's about mental health too. Are you feeding your mind with positive thoughts, with clarity, with focus? Or are you allowing it to be overwhelmed by chaos and confusion? You must be intentional about where you place your mental focus, because what you feed your mind directly impacts how much energy you have to achieve your goals. And it's not just about managing energy, it's about preserving it for the moments that matter most. The truth is, we often waste our energy on things that don't move us forward, things that drain us, things that stress us out, things that take us off course. But if you want to truly maximize your potential, you have to focus your energy where it counts. You have to learn to direct your efforts towards what truly matters, and let go of anything that doesn't. Every decision you make takes energy. Every conversation, every task, every thought, they all require energy. So if you're constantly making poor decisions, engaging in draining conversations, or participating in activities that don't align with your purpose, you're not just wasting time, you're depleting your energy. And without energy, you're running on empty. It's time to take control of your energy. That means setting boundaries, protecting your mental and physical health, and being conscious of what you allow into your life. It's about learning how to renew yourself so you can show up fully in everything you do. Because when you're managing your energy well, you become unstoppable. You wake up each day with purpose. You approach each task with clarity. And when you protect your time and energy, you're setting yourself up for success in ways you never imagined. So now that you understand the power of energy management, ask yourself, what are you doing today to preserve and maximize your energy? The next step to mastering your time is something that ties everything together, and it's the key to creating lasting success: legacy.